Oh, hi, boss. I'd like to apply for telecommuting from home, and I have a couple of points I would like to bring forth to support my application for that. Before I get there, did you know, as an interesting information I got offline, is US lost 1.8 billion dollars in lost productivity alone. Compared from where I came from, Singapore has a GDP of 359.9 billion US dollars in the year 2017. Compared to the 1.8 billion, this is a small sum in lost productivity alone. Well, since we're talking about productivity, let me start off with productivity. Now, productivity is getting things done in the fashion that we want it, where we want it, and how we want it, as long as we get it done efficiently. Now, in a traditional office setting and telecommuting, which is how I'll be comparing both, now we are usually faced with a deadline, and if we do not finish it on time, we are faced with the prospect of working overtime and staying back in the office after hours. Given that as office workers, we have to commute to and from work, the travel time gives us unnecessary stress, especially if some of us has families that we have to get back to or social events that we have to attend. But with remote workers, we are already home. I get to pick the pace at which I want to get the work done as long as I get it done. And since I'm already home, I find myself more willing to work overtime. Teamwork. Message people with a purpose. It's something that's lost over time. In a traditional office setting, we have the water cooler gossip, coffee break chats, we have the hang on your cubicle and chat over nothing chats, and all this leads to lost time that can be better used for work. Now, if I'm at home, in private, I have all the privacy in the world, and no one's interrupting me. I get my work done at the pace that I choose. However, that is not to take away the face-to-face value of teamwork. If I have to reach out to a colleague or my team members, I reach out with intent. Um, we set a time, we get on the app, we talk. A recent survey actually reported that this has led to a greater collaboration and better team bonding. Now, the third is presence. Presence refers to the here and now. When I am working, there is privacy and no interruption. But there will be times when it occurs to me, I have a social event I have to attend, I have a family member I have to look after, I have an errand to run, I might be sick today, I might have additional work that I need to juggle. So this brings me back to productivity. How we want to get things done, when we want to get things done, depends on my pace. So people don't call in sick, people don't sneak out during office hours, and the absenteeism rate definitely will not be that high. Now, the fourth point I would like to bring up, and in my point of view, it's very important when it comes to being a remote worker, is communication. Clear communication is very important because that is one of our our only way of contact. From the outset, expectations have to be managed. There are a few points. Let me bring up one. Is apps and platforms that we are be using and sharing. In this particular instance, we'll be using Zoom and we'll be using um, Skype for video conferencing. It is important that everyone is familiar and proficient with these softwares so that when it comes time, contact time, um, everybody knows what they're doing. And if there are licenses to be paid, I believe it's a worthwhile investment over the improved team bonding and productivity. The second is proactiveness, the willingness to come forth and inform all relevant parties of upcoming events. For example, if a company has a meeting or an event upcoming, to send out emails and messages, inform the members, the remote workers beforehand, so that we can arrange our own time. Remember, we are juggling when we want to do things, where we want to do things, how we want to get things done. The same thing as the remote worker. Whereas when we are not available, just inform the office so that in the event an emergency happens, which I will mention later, there won't be a case of miscommunication. Now, interruption. This comes under presence here and now. Uh, Everyone likes to work without interruption, and if I'm working, I do not appreciate getting interrupted by incessant messaging, video conferencing by the company, and then at the same time, this disrupts my train of thought, and this defeats the whole purpose of telecommuting in the first place. Um, yep, the next point I'll come to is contingency, emergency measures, like in the event of we need to contact someone urgently, the team members urgently, what has to be done. So emails might take time, messaging might not be replied. A simple phone call will do, and a phone call can be clear and concise. The message gets through what needs to be done, what has to be done to avoid miscommunication and misunderstanding. So basically, that's how I feel. It will improve my productivity and at the same time balance out my work life. For the company, it saves money. If I'm not there, you use less office space, there's lower noise value, volume, and of course, there's a decreased use of office resources. Basically, that's my basic pitch for telecommuting from home. Thank you, boss.